Hi folks, Sam Hazlett back here to talk with you a little bit about wine, and in particular about where wine comes from. Over the next couple of weeks we're going to explore not only where wine comes from, but how wine is made. This time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, all the grapes are ripening. People all around the world are picking their grapes and making wine. So we're going to take a little look at how that happens and what it's all about. So to begin with, we're going to talk about where wine comes from. The Earth, as you may know, is divided up into latitudinal sections. The 0-degree latitude is the equator, and at either end of the Earth, the latitude is plus or minus 90 degrees at the two poles. And wine grapes are grown in between those two extremes. And the best wines tend to come from almost exactly halfway in between, what is known as the 45th parallel. Whether you're on the northern side of the equator or the southern side of the equator, this tends to be the best place for grapes. And why is that? Part of it has to do with the fact that in order to get a lot of character into the grapes to make a great wine, the grapes have to grow in a semi-marginal area. That's why you'll see grapes grown in places where other things just can't grow. Some of the greatest wine grapes around the world come from the poorest soils in the world. Soils that are incredibly sandy or rocky or are just devoid of most nutrients. And this is a place where grapes can thrive. And also, the 45th parallel is about the extreme for ripening grapes. The 45th parallel, to give you an idea, is approximately where Minneapolis and St. Paul are in the world. And if you follow that 45th parallel around the world into the Northern Hemisphere, you'll see that it runs through some of the greatest winemaking areas of the world. Just to give you an example of where that 45th parallel lies, if you take the great wine growing area of Champaign, Champaign is at about the same latitudinal relationship as International Falls, Minnesota. So Champaign is a very much northerly wine growing area. And the wines of Champaign reflect that. In order to make Champagne, you need a very high acidity in the wines. And so you don't want grapes that are going to over-ripen to make Champagne. On another note, it's time for us to bid farewell and adieu to our good friend and colleague, Brian Molley. Brian is leaving the wine shop and going on to work with the Kowalskis, opening a grocery store that has a wine shop involved with it. And he will be the wine manager. So we thank Brian for all of the time that he's put in here and the great work that he's done and all the friends that he's made and everything that he's done for us, and wish him the best of luck in his upcoming venture, and hopefully we'll be seeing him around the shop every once in a while if he pays a celebrity visit to come and hang out with us. But for all the people that enjoyed him at the wine tastings, he will be sorely missed, and we wish him the best. Thank you for now. We'll talk to you next week more about how wines are made.